My name is Alex, and today I'm going to show you how to extract some information from websites. I'm going to be using Google Colaboratory for this. It's a great program on Google that allows you to code in Python for free. First thing we're going to want to do is we need to import some command libraries that will help us extract and analyze data. This first one will help us read the HTML code that the websites are written on. Requests will help us request information from these websites, and NumPy will help us analyze the data later on. So the website that I'm going to be using today is the Dortmund Data Bank. Dortmund Data Bank is a site with chemical information on a ton of different chemicals and compounds and is a great resource for chemical engineers. In order to get into our raw HTML code, we need to select any part of this data table and right-click and hit Inspect. And as you can see, it shows us the raw HTML code and the path it takes to get to our code. So, in order to get some content from this, we could do a triple quotation and right-click, copy the outer HTML, which will give us the entirety of the HTML code. But since websites don't like you poking around in their data, we copy and paste the HTML code into a separate website so that we can access it as much as we want without the website getting mad at us. So, I'm going to copy that into our URL, and then we're going to use requests to get our content from this URL. Now we're going to want to make a tree from this content. A tree will help put this information into a format that we can pull data from using XPath later. So we're going to use our HTML, make a string of it, our content, run that, and now we have all our data in a way in which we can access. Now, I'm going to be pulling the temperatures and pressures from this data table and ignoring the state and reference. So in order to make a string of temperatures, we're going to use our tree, and we need to use the XPath to access it within this tree. XPath is how you get from the top of this HTML code down to the information that we want. This highlights our temperature, so we can right-click that, go to Copy, and copy XPath. Paste that into our code, and we have the path it takes to get to our data. TR is referring to the row and TD the column. We want the entire column of data, so instead of TR13, we're just going to leave it as TR. And we want it as text, so we can put that at the end there. In order to make a string of our pressures, we're going to do the same thing. So go over and we can just copy and paste it from here now that we have the full path. And instead of the first column, we'll just change it to the second column. Now we can check what our string looks like. And that matches up with our temperatures from this data table. Now I'm going to be putting both of these strings into an array so that we can have our two columns of temperatures and pressures, and they'll all be lined up together. In order to do that, we make a little data set, use NumPy, make an array from it, and we're going to be using our t-strings by or p strings. Now, you can run it and keep it like that, and it will give you all your temperatures by all your pressures. But if you want to analyze this data later on, you're going to have to change the type of the data. So we're going to use numpy.float64. Now if you run data, it puts it into a format in which we can analyze later on. Hope that helped, and in the next video I'm going to show how to analyze this data.